is this thing up in the air, huh? Well, got the diff out. Basically, last time I was driving it, it was making some weird noises, and then the rear diff went clunk really badly, and then the diff sounded really bad. Basically sounded like a helicopter. So, what happened to my differential? Well, when we were installing this, we had to cut the roll pin that holds this main cross pin in. And me being the risky devil that I am, I reused that roll pin. Well, that roll pin ended up backing out in this direction, making this whole pin able to move. You can kind of see that. So there's nothing holding that pin in place. And eventually, what happened under driving, basically this pin was able to back out. You can see how chipped, just how generally fucked the surface of this pin is. It's also able to spin, and basically it hit the pinion on one rotation around and just totally fucking snapped in half. So that's one half of the pin. The other half is on this side, and those two are supposed to be one piece. Get a real nice shot of a cool brittle fracture right there. Hopefully that's in focus. So yeah, that kind of rendered the diff useless. So the car's been sitting here. I did get a new cross pin in the mail. However, the main problem is that when this pin backed out, it kind of started hitting the ring gear a little bit. So the inside of the ring gear teeth are chipped in some places, but the main atrocity that happened is under here, where you can see the pinion gear is pretty severely chipped and just fucked up in general. I am back from the money removal store. I have this pin, got that on Amazon. This is the new thing that I got. This is a roll pin, or a tension pin, that basically goes through, oh wow, that goes through this hole in here. Alright, well, now I'm here hammering this fucking pin in. And it seems to want to go in crooked, because I think it's a little too big. I guess we'll just keep hammering it, see what happens. Okay, well, ran into some problems. Basically, this pin is too big, so as I'm hammering it in, it's fucking bending a lot. And on top of that, because I have to hammer at an angle, here, I'm going to bring this hoopty over here in the light. Because I have to hammer at an angle, I may have accidentally touched the bearing race with the hammer, right there. And what that basically did was pushed one of these rollers down into the bottom race. So now when I spin the bearing, bearings aren't supposed to make that noise. You probably can't see that for shit. Basically, there's a huge chip out of the bottom race of this bearing, which means it's useless, and I need a new one. So that's going to delay things a little bit. Love it. It's 2 days later. I made a little bit of progress off camera, which I will walk you through. Earlier this morning, I went and basically undid all of my previous fuck-ups. So, I took out the oversized pin. That took a really long time, but I got that out, and I got one that's the correct size. So I now have the cross pin secured in there, which is good. And then also I replaced the chipped bearing with a new one. I just reused the bearing shim, and I'm hoping that this bearing is within tolerance to the other one. Not ideal, but it is what it is. I also have a new bearing race to go with that bearing. So today, hopefully, all that I'm going to be doing is reinstalling this differential. Should go smoothly, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Just for reference, I brought back the bits and pieces of the old bearing. This is the inner race. To get it off, I had to cut it and then split it with a chisel because pressing it off didn't work. You can see that little piece of the bearing race is missing, and that would most certainly cause issues. Made it to the shop so that I could chuck this thing up in a actual vise. That way, when I torque these to 55 goddamn foot-pounds, Jesus, it doesn't move around. Alright, back under the car, ready to finally put the diff in. The one thing that I'm gonna do is I want to try priming the bearings with oil before I actually drive with it. Oh, fuck me, it's... God damn it, I'm stupid. Ow. Alright, quick update. Got the diff in, however, I'm having a problem that it's pretty much, these aren't tight, but they're snug, and this thing, I don't know if you can see how much movement that is, but that's way more than it should be. That's incorrect. So I basically checked the part number on the bearing race that they gave me, and it doesn't match the part number of the bearing race that came off. But they have them in stock, so hopefully the correct bearing race will fix this problem. Let's go see. Alright, so I got the diff back out, and I want to show you the problem that I was having. This is the race that I just took out of it, that O'Reilly's gave me, and this is the race that was on the old diff. If you notice, there's a significant difference between the height of the two. Maybe it doesn't come through on camera. It's probably like 1 or 2 millimeters difference. I'm trying to fucking zoom. There we go. It's about 1 or 2 mil difference between the two. That translated into side-to-side movement of the diff, which is a not good thing. So now, from O'Reilly's, I actually used the part number off the back of this race to order a new one. And we're going to throw that in and see how that works. Alright. Once again, we were at the spot we were at before. Everything's in with these bolts snug. Now you can see I can wiggle this all I want, and it's not moving whatsoever. Actually, I'm now kind of concerned about how tight it is, because there is almost zero backlash. I don't know if it's within spec. I don't even know what the spec is. And considering I have such a crusty pinion gear, yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work, but I guess we'll see. So the car's back on the road. It's drivable, but only just. I'll take a video of actually driving it from inside the car so you can hear how awful it sounds. By no means is this a permanent solution, but got the car back on the road, and now I have to start looking into rebuilding a differential the right way. Can't fucking wait. So, acceleration, coasting, engine braking, and neutral. Sounds pretty fucking bad.